Lots of animation programs can output your animation as a PNG sequence. Only Final Cut Pro doesn't work with them natively. But there is a workaround. I'll show you how I use PNG sequences in Final Cut Pro in today's episode of the Expat Animator. So I've created a walk cycle here. Let's go ahead and take a look. And I've exported it as PNG sequence. So you can see I've got all of these PNG files that are just labeled with a number. And as I go through them, you can see there's a total of 300 PNG image files here. And each file has transparency in the background. So whatever we see right here where it's white is actually transparent. So let's go ahead and see how we bring that into Final Cut Pro. So I've created just a basic 1080p project here. And what I want to do is I want to do File, Import, Media. And then I'm going to go find my walk cycle folder here. And let's open up the folder, and then I can select all and import those images. Now you can see here I've got 300 images right here. Now, how do I get that into my timeline? So if I can't select the date here, so I've got to select each image. And if I select the first one and I scroll all the way down to 299 here, hold my shift key and select it. Now I've got all 300 images, and let's drag and drop those into the timeline. And when I do this, it's putting each drawing, holding it down for 10 seconds. And that's a long time. So what I want to do is I want to select everything with a Command A, or you can come up here and just do a select all. And then here's the trick. So if I right click on any of these images here, I get this change duration dialog here, or Control D as a keyboard shortcut. And if I click this, watch what happens. Now we get this number highlighted here. And in our case, it's showing 50, 0000. And I just type in the amount of frames that I want. So if I want this to hold for 1 frame, I just type in the key on my keyboard, the number 1, and I'll hit enter. And it's going to shrink all of these down from 10 seconds to 1 frame. And there it goes. You can see the timeline. Let me zoom in on the timeline here. And you can see now that's one of my frames. Let me zoom in further here. So these are only holding, you can see right here, 1 frame. So say I want to hold those for 2 frames instead. Well, let's select all, and the same trick here, change duration, and I'm going to type the number 2 on my keyboard and hit enter. And now you can see each frame is holding for 2 frames here. So that's how you change the duration and get your timing correct within Final Cut Pro. Now, we're still not done. The other trick here, let me zoom out on my timeline so I can see all of the images here. Let me select all. So let me just do a edit select all. And I've got all of these selected. And you can see as I'm scrolling through on my timeline, you can see the animation of the walk cycle. Now, this is a 10-second clip. So what I want to do here is I want to right click, and we're going to select new compound clip. When I do that, it's going to ask for a name, and I'll just call this walk cycle and hit OK. And now it's created its own video clip. So we don't have all of it's just one clip. We don't have all of the individual frames to deal with. And from here I can add a background. So let's just throw something in here real quick. And here's some clouds. I'll just drop that in real quick here. And then he's animating walking on top of a background. And that's basically it. So it's a matter of importing your sequence. And remember, every image has to have a file name with the numbers. So let's go back and take a look at that real quick. So we've got, and this will happen in your animation program when you're exporting your PNG sequence. It'll give the number sequence automatically after the file name that you give it. So we import that into Final Cut Pro. Then We select all and we change the duration of the frame rate that we want those individual images to hold for. And then we went in and created a new compound clip. And then we have basically like a video file with transparent background of our animated characters. So hopefully you like that tip. I use it all the time in Final Cut Pro. And hopefully now you know how to import and use your animations as a PNG sequence within Final Cut Pro. My name's Patrick Davidson, the Expat Animator. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time.